YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Big Beard B, and we are back for another edition of Big Beard Business. Now, a lot of you guys out there might think that fragrances are just something you spray on, but it's a lot more than that. That's why today we're going over the do's and don'ts of using fragrances to attract women. Do choose the right fragrance. If you're going out for a night on the town, you want to wear something that's going to make you stand out and grab attention. And as my personal suggestion, a fragrance that is bold and spicy would be perfect for this. However, on the other hand, if you're going out for a fancy dinner, you might want to wear something that's a little more subtle and sophisticated. A woody scent or a floral fragrance like L'Homme à la Rose from MFK would be perfect in this situation. Don't overdo it with your fragrance. Now, this is where a lot of guys mess up. They think that more is better and wind up spraying way too much fragrance on themselves. Let me tell you, there's nothing worse than being around someone that sprayed way too much fragrance. It's overpowering and it can be a huge turnoff. So remember, less is more when it comes to fragrance. Find the perfect spray ratio and you should be good to go. Do apply the fragrances to the right areas. Another important thing to keep in mind is where to apply your fragrances. Generally speaking, you want to apply it to the pulse points on your body. Think of your neck, wrist, and chest. These areas produce heat, which helps activate the fragrance and help it project. However, I'll give you a pro tip here. Instead of applying to your wrists, you may want to apply to your forearms. There's going to be greater surface area here, so if you are spraying the suggested 6 to 8 inches away, you're going to get more of the fragrance on your body. Ideally, you want to do this if you're wearing a short sleeve shirt because you don't really want to spray it that much on your clothing. Don't mix too many fragrances. I'm not saying that you can't mix them, but don't do too many. Now, this is something that a lot of guys don't even think about. However, I've come across some guys out there that would layer fragrances, but not quite in the correct way. They would spray one fragrance to their body, one fragrance to their clothing, use a scented body wash, a scented beard oil, a scented deodorant, and even use a scented hand sanitizer on top of that. Let me tell you, this is a recipe for disaster. There's a proper way to layer fragrances where you can apply 2 or 3 fragrances in a way that is masterful, but you want to be, again, strategic in how you are doing these. Just don't go out all willy-nilly applying a bunch of different fragrances and also having a bunch of different scented objects on your person, because that can make it quite difficult to get the job done. I mean, really, who wants to be the Frankenstein of fragrances and appealing to no one? Do invest in high quality fragrances. I mean, really, if you're serious about attracting women with fragrance, then you need to invest in high quality fragrances. Don't just go for the cheap stuff at the drugstore. A good fragrance can be expensive, but it's worth it. In most cases, it's going to last longer, but the fragrance will be more refined, more sophisticated. And listen, as I mentioned, they can be expensive. That is not the rule. There are often a lot of fragrances out there on the market that are great quality fragrances, but are inexpensive. If you're looking for a list of those, be sure to watch my video linked down below after you watch this one for a whole host of inexpensive fragrances that smell amazing. Don't neglect personal hygiene. Now, this one might sound obvious, but you'd be surprised about how many guys out there neglect personal hygiene and think that just spraying a bunch of fragrance on top of it is going to mask it. No, my friend, I've said this once, I've said it twice, I've said it 1,000,000 times. Cologne on top of ass just smells like ass. You need to care for your body first and then use fragrance as a finishing touch. And finally, do test fragrances before you buy them. Yes, you hear me correctly, man. Test out your fragrances first when you can. If you're not a collector or reviewer, I would not suggest you just buy a fragrance based upon how the bottle looked or its price point. Test it on your skin, give it a wear, and if you're in the store and 1 or 2 is catching your eye, spray it on your skin. Wait about 30 minutes so you can go through the opening, hit into the mid, and determine if it's a fragrance for you. Better if you can give it a couple hours. If you're gonna walk through the mall like I do, I park at a big box retailer, right? So let's say I park in Neiman Marcus, Saks, Macy's, Dillard's, etc. I go in, I test out some fragrances, I spray them on, I go do my shopping, I come back and determine if that's the fragrance I'm going to purchase, because I've allowed it to go through its wearing cycle just in there with doing my normal routine. So do test your fragrances in this manner. Might have just given you a gem. So there you have it, guys. Those are the do's and don'ts for using fragrance. I think it's using fragrance, but the title says for attractive women, because that matters as well. Remember, the fragrance is just one tool in the arsenal. You need to be confident, charming, respectful, and if you can make a little moolah, that helps a lot as well. But nonetheless, with the right fragrance and the right attitude, you will be unstoppable. That's all I have for you today. As always, I'm your boy, Big B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend that we are back again. And you already know what I need you to do. Just hit the goddamn bell.